The mainstream media and the internet sometimes withholds information that you and I both deserve to know. I have spent countless hours gathering many videos that you and I both need to watch together.
Israel has bombed a hospital, and these are infants being removed via incubators. This comes one day after a confirmed over 100 schoolgirls, mostly between the ages of 9 and 12, were killed in an Israeli attack on an elementary school.
Confirmed to not be the real Jim Carrey. It's just come out that this was an impersonator. The person who's taken credit for the performance is Alexis Stone, who's a known artist who has done this before. Alexis stating that they had done it on Instagram not long ago and showing a bit of the process. They're better known for the work from Kim Kardashian, turning her into a lizard. Here's some of the other work from the past, and obviously impersonating known people is something that this person has done before. But I mean, to be able to pull off Jim Carrey, well done. A lot of people were fooled. Obviously, the internet went wild and sort of looked at whoever this person was and said, hell no, that's not him. And good on those people, and good on you for being called a conspiracy theorist and then turn out to be correct.
Generally speaking, with all these rumors and speculations about, these celebrities not being who they really are, some are saying they're doppelgangers, some are saying aliens, some may even say clones. I don't know at this point. Next week, I wouldn't even be surprised if we hear that Jim Carrey was actually being impersonated by someone, but it was actually a clone. I don't know what to think at this point.
This has to be the craziest ChatGPT use case that I've ever seen. So you start by coming over to ChatGPT and clicking on the little voice mode. Then click these three dots and then share screen. You're now going to be able to broadcast your screen to ChatGPT so it can help you with tasks. Check this out.
All right, so I want you to tell me how to change the time on my phone.
Absolutely, let's do it. So it looks like you're in the settings menu. You'll want to
No way, that's so
which is right there in
weird.
the middle of the screen. And once you do that, then you'll head to date and time, which you'll find
That's
if you scroll
scary.
just a little bit down. Let me know if
You
you
can
need
see
any
what
help.
you're looking
Thank you.
at on your
That's obviously
phone.
just a super simple example, but imagine having it summarize your emails or even do your homework. Follow me and save this video if you want to see more use cases like this.
There's a blood moon total lunar eclipse happening on March 3rd. So in parts of America, Oceania, and Asia, you will be able to see a total blood moon lunar eclipse. You'll be able to see it very, very well if you're on the West Coast in America specifically. You'll be able to see this at around 4:30 a.m. Eastern time. If you're out of the viewing area, people will still be streaming it, so you will still be able to see it just on a stream. Better be sure you see it because this is the last blood moon before 2028.
Guys, I just found something absolutely crazy with this shooting, and you are not going to believe it. Now, this is a still frame of this object behind Charlie, but first I want to show you this video. Listen and notice the flash. This video is from behind him.
From behind.
Watch right here.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
See that?
Yeah.
One more time.
Flash.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Now, yeah.
Now, I've slowed it down here for you guys.
Flash.
Now, here's the slow motion here. And then impact. One more time. Check this out, guys. Boom. Impact. Now, I've heard a lot of theories out there. Of course, they're theories of people saying that the way that he was bleeding out suggests that he could have been hit from behind and the bullet exited through the front of his neck. Again, this is just hypothesis. I have no idea, guys. Just a guy reporting. This could all just be, coincidence. Just like all of this is, and all of this is. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Peace and love.
Hello, how are you? I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son little Joey here. Is there paperwork or can I check out the daycare? No? Why can't I check out the daycare? Okay, but if can I get paperwork or anything to submit my son little Joey to come in here to daycare?
Do you ever think to yourself, like, man, I'm working really hard at my job and I'm barely scraping by. Maybe if I was a Somalian Muslim, then I could make $3 million to do nothing. Is it just me who thinks that?
A kid's YouTube song with over 1 million views is brainwashing kids with 666 imagery. And I'm going to tell you why this is so crazy. But before I do, you need to protect your kids from what they're listening to. That's why I use Verso AI, because it filters out all profanity. If you want it, comment app, I'll send it to you. Now, this song has an innocent looking 666 cartoon figure running around, causing trouble, doing all sorts of stuff. And it even has kids chanting 666 without them knowing the meaning. But the devil acts like an angel of light to deceive people. If you're a parent, pay close attention to the content your kids are consuming.
Why can't liquid metal break down this McDonald's burger?
That's
the liquid metal.
That
and
can't be
almost
real.
nothing is happening to this burger.
That cannot be real, dude.
Watch when they pour it on the meat. Nothing happened. It just bounces off.
Right.
Like nothing is happening. Stay weird, yo.
So you're telling me right now if I went to McDonald's and then bought a Big Mac and I lit it on fire, it would not catch on fire? If this is true, what are they even made of? Because for all I know, that should all be flammable. What are we ingesting?
It looks like everyone was right. This was indeed not Jim Carrey, and here is proof. Okay, so just to bring everyone up to speed, Jim Carrey went viral for making an appearance at the Honorary César Awards in Paris. Everyone was saying that Jim Carrey got cloned because this does not look like the Jim Carrey that we know. Now, fast forward to a few days later, he was seen out in the public in Paris. And photographers just straight up asked him, hey, are you actually Jim Carrey or are you a clone? And Jim Carrey seemingly brushed it aside, like he acted like he had no idea what that guy was talking about. But finally, we do have proof that this was indeed not Jim Carrey at the César Awards in Paris. It was this individual, Alexa Stone. For those of you who are not aware of this individual, this person dresses up in like prosthetic makeup as other people. If you scroll through the IG, you can see that this individual has impersonated other people. For example, this was this individual impersonating Jack Nicholson in 2024. As you can see, it does look like him, even though it's a little bit jarring. Here you can see that he made an IG post about Jim Carrey. Alexa Stone is Jim Carrey. Here's some of the after pics, but this was actually what he used as a prosthetic to look like Jim Carrey. And if you go to the IG story, this is what the 3D model of Jim Carrey would look like. So there you have it, guys. That was indeed not Jim Carrey at the Paris Awards. It was this individual, Alexa Stone.
All American bases in the Middle East are either destroyed or under attack. This is footage from Al Udeid, the biggest base in the Middle East, and it has been blown up in flames from Iranian missiles. This airbase in Iraq is in flames and under attack right now from Iraqi militias. In Kuwait, American air defenses are non-existent as Iranian drones are slamming into it every hour. Here in Bahrain, an American base hit again with an Iranian missile. It now appears also that the naval base in Bahrain has been completely destroyed. This strike right here is the reason that the Americans on that radar blowing up cannot detect anything. This was the biggest radar in the Middle East for U.S. bases. There are only a few American defense systems left, as you can see right here, with everything else being relocated to Israel to protect them instead. The U.S. has probably a day or two left of air defenses before they are completely overrun. It's already been confirmed in Bahrain, all American bases are out of air defenses, as you see smoke still rising on the naval one. Follow me for more updates.
Did you hear about the boat that mysteriously emerged from the ice capsulages in Antarctica? It was fully encased, frozen in an ice wall down there, but since the capsulages are melting, it released it, and they believe that it might be from the 1400s. They're trying to figure out if it's like a Captain Cook-esque ship. A lot of people are scared to go close to it because they say as they get closer, they can hear voices and screaming coming from the boat, and it's super eerie. Right now, it is headed off to the coast of Chile, and so different governors are telling the other world governors, hey, you gotta go take care of this ship. But I'll let you know as we find out more.
Okay guys, Iran is now being hit with a major wave of cyber attacks following the initial strikes from the US and Israel. So it looks like it's an attack from multiple different angles. In fact, one of Iran's apps for tracking prayer times has been hacked, and it started sending Iranian citizens notifications like help has arrived and it's the time for reckoning. On top of that, a number of Iran's state news broadcasters are also being hacked and they are currently down. Now, this could certainly cause confusion, as you'd imagine, from the public wanting to know what the hell is going on, but their news source is inaccessible, and it could also potentially drive the people of Iran to look for other news sources to find out, potentially ones outside of the country. A lot of developments coming in right now, so make sure you follow. I'll keep you
scopolamine in the Epstein emails. Ask Chris about my trumpet plants at the nursery. Now, the trumpet plants is what scopolamine comes from. Scopolamine is a drug. They nicknamed it the devil's breath. It's like a powder. You can blow it into somebody's face, and it basically takes away all of their free will. It does seem like something that Epstein would use.
In 2016, NYPD's Special Victims Division began investigating Anthony Weiner's laptop, and the hard drive was called Life Insurance, and it had a video on it called Frazzle Drip. I've only heard things, but in 2019, All within 2 months, 9 officers from NYPD supposedly killed themselves, all by gun wounds to the head. Then they also had a deputy chief and the head of investigations do the same thing within 24 hours of each other. So, what in the world? This is an anomaly within an anomaly. Like, how is this not national news? How? What the heck is going on? Oh my gosh. What is going on?
When did lizards start breathing fire? So they're at a beach. And this guy starts filming this lizard. Watch. It really makes me wonder if lizards are actually evolving into literal dragons now. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Stay weird.
Being reported that an Iranian strike has now hit Dubai International Airport. This video that was just posted roughly 30 minutes ago appears to verify that claim. It shows a terminal building heavily damaged with smoke filling the air. Like I said, this just happened 30 minutes ago. We don't know much beyond that. Follow to stay updated.
Whatever this boy encountered must have been absolutely terrifying, and I still can't wrap my mind around what he must have experienced while he was lost in the woods. This is 3-year-old Riker Webb, and one day he was playing with his dog in his backyard when he seemingly vanished into thin air. Police did a very extensive search for him. Neighbors got involved, they had dogs, they had helicopters, all trying to find this toddler. But it wasn't until 2 days later when he reappeared looking like this. Now, it's very obvious that something traumatic has happened to this child, and it may just be the shock from having been lost. But what's even stranger is that Riker was found just 2.5 miles from where he went missing in an area that had already been searched. And he was allegedly wearing a different outfit than the one he disappeared in. So this 3-year-old had supposedly wandered off by himself and has somehow survived 2 days alone outside with rain and freezing temperatures in Montana. And once he's found around the same area that's already been searched, he's wearing someone else's clothing. Riker's brother actually had a TikTok account at one point and posted a video asking Riker if he could remember anything from that time. He responded by saying that he remembers seeing a house in the woods where someone lived. According to Riker, someone let him come into the house so that he could, quote, live. What do you guys think happened to this little boy?
Hillary Clinton did a BBC interview last night to address the claims about Bill and Jeffrey Epstein. And this is what she said.
We have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work. I don't recall ever meeting him. Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell? I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it to me is not something that is really at the heart of what this matter is about.
Really? Someone that just took a couple of rides on Jeffrey's airplane, it's crazy that his name shows up 1,192 times in the files. That there's photo collage albums titled Clinton Trips, New York, LA, and London. But yeah, I'm sure it was just philanthropy. What do you think? As always, let me know down below.
Did a test to see how they could activate the hardest punch you could do. They took an athlete, right? He was a fighter. The first test they did, they let him punch normally. Boom, punched it, that's a test. Next, they injected him with adrenaline and decided to see how much harder he could punch. Did adrenaline shot? His body tensed up, his muscles tightened, he punched it, boom! It hit 600 pounds of force.
Oh my gosh.
And then they did another test.
Yeah.
They didn't let him do any adrenaline.
Okay.
Instead, they took a coach. And the coach was telling him all of these things to motivate him and get him hyped up. And then he went to go hit the bag, hit it. With the coach's motivation, that fighter hit 1,000 pounds of force.
Wow.
That was the hardest punch they tested all day.
Motivation?
Was coach's motivation.
Is this an actual ghost of the woman in white? You can hear her crying. Oh, ¿qué fue? This might be the first time anyone's got anything like this on camera. God help anybody who stops and helps that woman. Stay weird.
I don't.
Is the snow outside even real?
All right, so since there was a bunch of weirdos in the comment section saying that, oh, don't do a transition. We don't trust you.
So grabs the snow, goes inside.
We don't trust you with the transition. Okay. There's a snowball. Right here.
Or is
it's
it
right here? Hold on. Hold on. All right. No transition, guys. Don't you guys think that I'm swapping out fucking snowballs and shit? Weirdos.
It doesn't melt.
Look at that.
How does it burn?
Smells like plastic. Literally smells like plastic. Probably because it is. Probably because our snow is fake, our food is fake, our water's fucking fake. In this world.
That snow's not
Including
even
the snow.
melting. It's not
If
even
you guys
melting.
live somewhere else,
Snow is
getting
fake?
snow, do the same thing. Tag me in that shit. I'll throw it on my story.
So first, it's celebrities not being who they really are. Some saying clones, some are saying impersonators. Then we later find out that Big Macs aren't really made of what they seem to be made of, but they're actually not even flammable to begin with. Now we're saying that ice is plastic and snow is plastic, and it's not what we really think it is. What is this world becoming into?
When
That's
someone
crazy.
named Vlad is telling us about vampires, I think we should listen to them.
Столетиями набивать брюхо человеческой плотью, а карманы деньгами. Но они должны понять, что бал вампиров заканчивается.
Putin, can you pick me up from school? I'm scared. Yeah, this is my driver. Yeah. I didn't know that Putin would be the good guy in 2026. Our common enemy is vampires. Banana. Whatever.
ChatGPT came out with a web browser, and schools are screwed. It's called Atlas, and the layout is pretty familiar. You've got your tabs, your URL, what you're working on, and then off to the side, a ChatGPT tab. You can ask it questions, and you don't need to give it more context because it can see what you're working on. Wait, so does that mean I can open my homework and then tell it to read the whole page and give me the answers? Yeah. Or you could just tell it to do it for you. You see this blue glow? That means agent mode is on, and everything that's happening on the screen is being controlled by the AI. Like right here, it's reading this recipe and then shopping for all of the ingredients by itself. And they tried to put in safeguards like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do graded assignments or assessments. But it's very easy to trick. You just say it's for practice and it'll do it for you.
Scientists just discovered a brand new species of a dinosaur deep in the Sahara Desert, and they're saying that it was a 40-foot predator that they're now calling the hell heron. This is obviously insane that we're discovering brand new dinosaurs in 2026, but they're saying that a team of 20 paleontologists just drove off-road deep in the Sahara Desert. They say that they drove for 3 days straight to reach one of the most remote fossil sites ever found. A guy that was local to the area actually drove them deep into the desert where he's seen massive bones sticking out of the sand, and what they found was obviously an entirely new species. They were able to pull out not only just the jaw fragments, but also teeth and 3 different massive sword-shaped heads, which were the tallest of any dinosaur ever discovered. They were actually able to assemble the skull digitally on a laptop that they had that was powered by solar panels in the middle of the desert, and that's whenever they realized what they just found. They're saying that this brand new dinosaur probably lived around 95 million years ago when the Sahara Desert was actually a forest full of trees. They're saying that this thing was the size of a T-Rex, it was 40 foot long, and it weighed up to 7 tons. Dude, the researcher that discovered this called it the expedition of a century. Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick pause. So far, we've watched a lot of clips. I want to know which one has stood out to you the most. While we're here, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe.
In restricted warfare, just kind of the idea of psyops. So there were these 2 Chinese military colonels. They were trying to figure out, like, how can you beat an adversary that is militarily and tactically and financially superior? So these 2 guys wrote this whole plan called unrestricted warfare, and it ended up getting published, and you can buy a copy on Amazon. If you can't beat them externally through conventional means, you have to launch a plan to defeat them from within. First, you erode trust in basic social institutions. The idea of family, it could be the church, it could be the government, it could be the military, it could be law enforcement. If you slowly start to erode that trust, that can actually turn into an adversarial relationship. And then you want to make people confused about what is real and what is not real, and let the people of a country not even be able to determine truth from misinformation. And then you want to tribalize people. And this goes beyond partisanship.
Yeah.
This goes into making people very worried about their own neighbors beyond politics.
In the West, there's like an algorithm like self-harm.
Yeah.
But in China, they're like pushing like math and science and like all these different
Engineering
videos on there.
I think it's going to actually talk about how can you inspire violence and social unrest and assassins and things like that.
We still have no signs. We're doing good. So
Yeah,
everyone keep an eye out for any of these signs. If you see it, say something.
Starting next week, the Israeli military will be monitoring and controlling community guidelines on TikTok. Yes, that sounds very crazy, but Larry Ellison, the new owner of TikTok, has designated Israel's 8200 division to run the community guidelines on America's largest platform. Larry Ellison is one of the world's richest men and the single biggest donor to the Israeli military. And they have altered their community guidelines back in September that will ban you for anti-Israel, anti-Semitic content. And if you're wondering who will be judging you on what is anti-Israel, well, that's no other than the Israeli 8200 Special Forces Intelligence Unit, which is literally made to combat and promote propaganda in the Middle East. So, when is TikTok turning into a big propaganda tool? Well, within 7 days is whenever the new community guidelines go into effect. America's biggest social media application has been hijacked by a foreign country. Comment your thoughts, follow me, and share to spread the word.
What would you do if 2 hours of your life just vanished? This creepy true story comes from Mike. When he was 12 years old, he was at a football game at the local high school. He wanted to be home in time for a TV show that started at 9:30 p.m., so he and a friend left with plenty of time to make it back. As they were walking home, just minutes away from his house, the entire sky lit up bright orange. The whole sky glowed for a few seconds, and then it went completely back to normal. Mike and his friend both saw it and were completely confused about what had just happened. Mike walked in his front door expecting to catch the TV show, but instead his parents were standing there, furious. "Why are you out so late?" asked his mom. Mike was confused. He had left early. Then his mom pointed to the clock. It was 11:30 p.m. More than 2 whole hours had passed, and he had absolutely no memory of them. Over 30 years later, Mike was out camping in the woods when 3 owls began circling his campsite and behaving strangely. Suddenly, a voice entered his head that didn't feel like his own. It told him that the owls are connected to that experience that he had when he was a child. Mike would go on to spend decades researching the strange connection between paranormal encounters and owls. And what he uncovered was far bigger and stranger than he could have ever imagined.
Is Selena Gomez a victim of soul swapping?
I'll switch your wife out and I'll put another one of your wife inside of her body. And they're walking around and you think that's your wife and it's not your wife. This is what's going on. It's no longer, like I said, it's no longer spiritual. We figured out how to, turn into spirit and exchange the soul in order to control the vessel. So if I have the vessel and I'm just nothing but spirit, I can ruin your life. That's what everybody has been going through.
It's almost as if there is a show about this.
Stay weird.
Oh, wait. There is.
TMZ and Jim Carrey's publicist have cleared up the rumors. They say it really was Jim Carrey. I bet they're also going to say that, like, he switches hands when he signs signatures, because he was seen signing that signature with the wrong hand. And also his signature can change because that can happen with age. And I'm sure they're going to say he just had a little bit of work done, even though Jim Carrey's been very vocal about not having work done. But TMZ and Jim Carrey's publicist, they said so. They said so. So they just want us all on the internet to drop it and act like we didn't see that. Because remember, we're not supposed to believe our eyes. That's something we're never ever supposed to believe is our eyes. We're supposed to believe exactly what the media tells us. Does this clear it up for anybody else? No? You still? Yeah? Okay, let me know.
So for some reason, everyone is starting to do water mukbangs, and it's safe to say it's only getting worse. If you haven't heard, people are literally taking videos of themselves eating water and ice like it's a full course meal. Not to mention, people are going as far as dyeing the water blue just to make it look like it's more refreshing. And I guess people are buying different water brands like Fiji, Evian, and Saratoga just to see which one tastes better. The funny part about this is everyone is buying all these different water brands, but of course no one is buying Dasani. All I know is if you do end up buying Dasani, never leave it in a hot car for more than 24 hours.
Starting next week, the Israeli military will be monitoring monitoring and controlling community guidelines on TikTok. Yes, that sounds very crazy, but Larry Ellison, the new owner of TikTok, has designated Israel's 8200 division to run the community guidelines on America's largest platform. Larry Ellison is one of the world's richest men and the single biggest donor to the Israeli military. And they have altered their community guidelines back in September that will ban you for anti-Israel, anti-Semitic content. And if you're wondering who will be judging you on what is anti-Israel, well, that's no other than the Israeli 8200 Special Forces Intelligence Unit, which is literally made to combat and promote propaganda in the Middle East. So, when is TikTok turning into a big propaganda tool? Well, within 7 days is whenever the new community guidelines go into effect. America's biggest social media application has been hijacked by a foreign country. Comment your thoughts, follow me, and share to spread the word.
Serving us milk at school.
Dude.
Do you know what I found out about that shit?
Oh, here we go. This guy's gonna do Lunchgate.
Bro,
Uh-oh.
this is crazy. So apparently they had like made a deal with a bunch of like dairy farmers or something like that. And they had an excess amount of milk that like these farmers had to get rid of, that they made like this crazy deal with them or something.
And they made hella money off of it?
They made hella money off of it, and they had to get rid of all this milk somehow. So they made it into our food pyramid that we had to have a certain amount of milk in our diet. I swear to God, that's the reason why milk was such a big
part of it.
Part of the pyramid, of the food pyramid, was that they had pretty much made deals with these dairy farmers that they had to get rid of all this milk, and that's the reason why they would serve it at all the schools.
Man,
think about it.
Propaganda commercials, nigga, milk baby, make your bones strong like
all that,
crazy.
All that. And it's like, why not just serve us water?
Yeah.
It would be a lot cheaper making us get cardboard, carton fucking milk.
Creating it, yeah.
They said the reason why they do this is because they say that cow milk has a lot of mucus and blood cells in it from the cow, and that when humans drink it, it like weakens our immune system and gets us sicker.
Really?
And that's the reason why they'll serve it to us as young as like elementary school, preschool, to get our bodies used to it.
And then they pump us straight to the pharmaceutical companies.
There we go.
Mike, the pipeline is insane.
You know what I'm saying?
And then the pharmaceutical companies pass us to the graveyards.
There we go.
And that's a big company too, because you got to pay for all of that shit.
That's why they said that the government made this deal with these dairy farmers back in the day.
Yeah.
To keep us sick, to keep us in the pharmaceutical companies, to keep more money in their pockets.
Dude, you know what's even crazier too? They'll probably just traffic your corpse.
Breaking news, Israel has accepted their defeat and is signing the Gaza peace deal. Today, the Israelis have accepted the ceasefire and Palestine has won the Gaza war. Thousands of Palestinian prisoners will now be released from Gaza, and all of the Palestinian fighters will be granted immunity. All Palestinians will be freed and zero punishments. And the best part, Israel must leave the Gaza Strip facing a humiliating defeat. Fighting 2 years and they're not being able to annex or govern Gaza. The Palestinians will. This is after forced pressure from President Trump, as the Israelis did not want to accept this defeat. Alienating themselves from the entire world, everyone is recognizing Palestine, and the Israeli army has been defeated once and for all. Members of Netanyahu's government are already threatening to resign because of this disastrous defeat. Israel has surrendered to the Gazans, and the Palestinians have done the unthinkable and defeated Israel. Follow for more updates.
Here's a creepy video from the internet for you to be scared of.
Van a las 3 de la mañana, cabrón. Mírala, jugando memes como siempre. Chica, no mames, no mames, mira esa madre. No mames. ¿Qué verga es eso?
Makeup artist named Alex Stone claims that was him as Jim Carrey, showing a mask in one photo. But some people think he's just trolling. What do you think?
Kenneth Copeland actually the one playing Jim Carrey in this clip where everyone's like, that's not Jim Carrey? I mean, once you see it, you can't really unsee it here, guys. I mean, the eyes never lie, guys. This is old Jim Carrey. This is new Jim Carrey here. People are saying a clone, but it could just be some sort of mask. Certainly very interesting indeed. The same eyes too. Those eyes just don't lie. Let me know what you think about this crazy conspiracy theory in the comments down below. Of course, this is just for entertainment purposes only. Don't forget to like, share, and follow for more hidden truth. Peace and love.
Quick question for MAGA. Can any Trump supporter actually look at this photo and tell me you think he looks healthy? This was Trump at the Kennedy Center the other day, and he looks terrible. I mean, he looks like he has an 105-degree fever. Or what about this photo from the same night? Does this look like peak human fitness as MAGA claims that Donald Trump embodies? Do the Trump supporters not care about the major bruising on his hand that he is now covering up with makeup and bandages? Or what about all of the different photos of him falling asleep in front of the entire country? Here's one, here's another from that same day. Here's video footage of Donald Trump trying to stay awake in the Oval Office while an event is going on. He's doing everything in his power to keep his eyes open, and the sleep is beating him. He's not winning that battle. Or what about this photo at his golf club recently? I mean, are you are you kidding me? Or what about when his face was drooping on one side earlier this fall? This is a real photo. MAGA can come up with all the excuses they want, but we're not buying it. This guy is not healthy. He's not all there, and there's something.
Hillary Clinton just wrapped up her hours-long testimony on Congress's Epstein investigation. And before this testimony with the House Oversight Committee, Clinton posted this long statement on social media, basically saying that she has no information on Epstein's criminal activity and that she doesn't even recall ever encountering him. And it's a little confusing why Congress decided that it was such a priority to question her, because she's only in the Epstein files about 700 times, and almost all of those files are articles about her running for president. Again, Hillary Clinton has said that she doesn't remember ever meeting Epstein and has only met Ghislaine Maxwell a few times socially, although it is important to note that Ghislaine Maxwell was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding and a few Clinton Global Initiative events. Bill Clinton, on the other hand, has acknowledged being on Epstein's private plane at least 4 times. We remember seeing him in all of these weird photos in the Epstein files, and he was in Epstein's 50th birthday book that featured close friends. But even still, neither of the Clintons were accused of any wrongdoing from anything in the files or by victims. Yet Congress still threatened to criminally prosecute them for contempt if they didn't testify. And that would basically include up to a $100,000 fine and a year in prison, so here we are. And of course, people who are in Trump's current administration who are mentioned in the files are just not being questioned, like RFK Jr., Howard Lutnick, First Lady Melania Trump, and of course, President Trump, who is reportedly mentioned in the files 1 million times. But instead, lawmakers are today focusing on Hillary Clinton. And it's just such a shame that after 8 years of being a senator, 4 years of being Secretary of State, and running for president twice, she is again being attacked and forced to answer for her husband's relationships. The House Oversight Committee chairman said that questioning the Clintons would help Congress, quote, strengthen laws to better combat human trafficking. But last year, the State Department actually cut 70% of its office that monitors and combats trafficking, so it's hard to believe that's why they forced the Clintons to testify. Bill Clinton will be questioned tomorrow, and apparently all of these transcripts and video depositions will be available in the coming days. The news girls will obviously go through it all and report on what we find, so make sure to